making some offers. They offered Tim Hardaway Jr. a 4-year, $71 million contract. Of course, he was a Knicks draft pick back in the day. The Atlanta Hawks can match, but I'd be shocked if they did, considering they are appearing to be in a rebuilding mode. My spidey senses, remember the theme of this segment, we're going to keep going back to it. I believe the Knicks are overpaying. Matt, do you think this is a good or a bad offer?
It's a terrible offer. I'm so sick of this team. They make one terrible move after another.
Amen.
We come in, we talk about how bad it is. There's no defending this.
I can defend it.
Okay, I'd love to hear you try.
My spidey senses actually go off a little bit about the reaction to this specifically to the Knicks, because generally I hate almost everything the Knicks do. I don't hate the Knicks. I just hate what they do.
Same.
But if this was the Brooklyn Nets that made this offer sheet, I don't know if it would garner the same reaction.
No.
The Knicks are in a situation where they need to acquire young talent. They have to build within. And they're never going to get a big star free agent. That's a pipe dream. So the money doesn't bother me as much. I can argue or rationalize that the money is to incentivize not matching of the deal, and who was a better player that they were going to bring in than Tim Hardaway Jr. And I'll excuse the fact that he was already on the team because Phil Jackson was the guy who got rid of him, not the people there in place. We know he can score. He doesn't do much else.
Steve Mills was there.
Steve Mills has been there for a long time.
Steve Mills is hanging around, saying whatever James Dolan wants him to say.
Well, and we have no idea to what degree, what kind of power Steve Mills actually has. But yes, he's been there for the length of this. Listen, I think Tim Hardaway actually, in terms of being a good teammate, I think he is. I mean, who knows still what's going to happen with Carmelo Anthony?
Joe Kim is a good teammate, too. Why are people upset about his $70 million contract?
Well, his contract's a lot worse.
Nice guy. No, it's really the same because they're going nowhere. They're spending crazy money on things that don't move the needle. They're trying to make splashes when they shouldn't be trying to make splashes. They were actually doing a great job of doing nothing for a couple of days, and they messed it up. And the Hardaway Jr. signing is just a mistake, and they're gonna, in a year, it's gonna look even worse when he comes back to New York and falls into the same habits and he can't hit the threes he couldn't hit the first time around, and they're gonna wonder what went wrong. And turns out when he went down to Atlanta and there was a little bit of spacing, he was able to play better. But one quick thing that Robin said I got to go back to. The fact that the Knicks aren't a free agent destination is a joke. They have worked so hard for the past 10 years to make that true. It's so hard for people to not to want to play basketball in New York. Good for them. Good for them for not being a free agent destination, because that's really hard to do.
This mission of keeping free agents away from New York City.
They play in the mecca of basketball, in the biggest stage for one of the teams with the greatest histories, and nobody wants to play.
The biggest stars in the league publicly ridicule them. So I mean,
but as short as a couple years ago, Carmelo Anthony forced his way to New York. He wanted to play in New York. He was one of the biggest stars in the game then, and look at how far it's come.
You know what makes me think? It makes me think that perhaps Kristaps Porzingis is not going to be with the Knicks throughout his prime, because the trend now is for guys to sign much shorter deals because they want to have control over their own careers, who they play with, where they go. If he signs, he's a qualifying offer in the year 2021, right? 2020, 2021. If he only wants to sign a 2 or 3 year deal, I could also see Porzingis starting to leave and then talk about not being a free agent destination. They have to build a winner right now, or else that trend is going to continue.
And this is what it's like in the super team era, is that there's only 2, maybe 1 team that people actually want to play for. It's just a matter of will my current team win a title in the next